Definitely not John. This is going to be a lot different from something John would ever say. But I'm Batman. It's nice to formally meet all y'all. I'm a rapper, so that probably explains everything. But I got some stickers and some business cards if any of you guys want to get with me after this, because I guarantee you there's some musicians in here. It's usually like a prerequisite to become a successful musician is do drugs. I was like looking at Jimi Hendrix and people like that. So from a young age, I was like, I got to do that. But I just turned 27, so not in the 27 club, but I outlived Mac Miller. So I come in here voluntarily. I help do the nerd stuff. I don't really get in front of the camera a lot because I talk a lot. But yeah, I have a company called White Hippie Records, and I'm on Spotify. It's pretty dope. And I just started making my own beats. So did that for my whole first album that I actually produced myself. And, I talked to people like Kasky and his producer Tasty sold me a beat pack. So there's like a lot of people that were always like idols of mine that I never thought that I would meet. But now that I've been able to do that, even when I was getting high, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I believe more in myself nowadays because I think recovery is nice in terms of, you got to check me out on Spotify. You don't have to find all that when you get out of here. But because this is the realness. This is behind the scenes. You got to, like, to get this ticket, you got to do something to get here. You know what I'm saying? This is a lot harder than going to a show. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can go to a show, but not a lot of people go to jail. But no, I think it's all about finding purpose in life. You know what I mean? I think like not wanting to get high is only going to get you so far in recovery. You know what I mean? Like being like, oh, I don't want to go back to jail. That's only going to last so long, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Whether you're a tattoo artist or whatever, find something that means something to you. You know what I mean? So that you can have that drive. And like, dude, I'm 11 years in. I made mixtapes for 11 years before I ever had an album out or ever had a song that I made money off of. And that's just because I knew I was going to have to sacrifice a lot of my life because I really love music. You know what I mean? And so like I coach Anthony on making business cards and making logos and how he should train other people to, understand trans people and stuff like that. Cause that's his niche, Each of you guys got a niche. You just got to figure out what your niche is. What do you bring to the table that nobody else brings to the table? And then find out what that is, monopolize it, and don't let anybody else come for your territory. You know what I mean? Just like selling drugs. Get your territory, find your product, and make sure nobody else can come in your game. Like, do that. And that's what I do. I learned how to do it because I've been locked up in Santa Cruz County for grand theft auto of a law enforcement vehicle. That's what I do when I smoke meth. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out there, man. My mugshots are online. It's not a good look, But I think the beauty of pursuing music for me in the last 4 years has been that even though I was growing pot and doing a lot of stuff that's frowned upon by the law enforcement community, like I still had a purpose. I still made music the whole time. So they were like, oh, this guy's just doing this because it supports his music. Let's kind of leave this dude alone. I was working pop-ups. It's like we patted everybody down and checked IDs and stuff, but undercover people came in all the time. We knew we were being watched, but we were just selling good pot, It was organic. And we weren't peddling stuff from Cali. But anyway, neither here nor there. You know what I mean? That's just part of my past, but that was part of my dream. I was like, I wanted to have the Wiz Khalifa Snoop Dogg fantasy of like grow pot, you know what I mean? And do music. And I thought that pot was going to bring me in closer connection with God. And honestly, it's legal now. So when you get out of here, that's going to be the number one offender to bring people back, is pot. You're going to be like, oh, I'm not going to do hard stuff, but pot's not a big deal. You know what I mean? It's legal in Richmond. You know what I mean? It's legal in Virginia. You know what I mean? But honestly, man, when I know for me, like if I get a little bit high, I'm gonna be like, oh man, I know how to get real high. You know what I'm saying? Why am I gonna waste my hard-earned money on a high that's only gonna get me this high when I know how to get this high? You know what I mean? Then I'm gonna end up right back in here. But I kind of had to prove to myself, like even when I was getting high, I was like, I still want to see if I can do coke on weekends, and I did. Didn't end up in jail, but I was miserable. You know what I mean? And so it's like I was trying to prove to myself and the world on Instagram that I could successfully get high, but I was so lonely and bored and miserable. You know what I mean? That finally, that's what I came to McShin for, was weed was the only thing that I failed for on my piss test. You know what I mean? And I'm here to tell you that even if you're young and a pothead and alcohol and weed is your only problem, or you feel like, oh, I'm just going to go smoke weed and stuff, that's plenty to qualify you in recovery. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a tweaker or a dope fiend to get in recovery. You can just have had, possession of marijuana charge. I wish when I was 19 years old and had my first possession of marijuana charge, back when they used to lock you up in Virginia for that, I did 3 weeks behind it. I wish someone had told me, man, that's enough. Like, that's plenty. Like, you don't have to become a dope fiend like us. I remember going into NA meetings and everyone was talking about heroin from Baltimore. And I was like, man, I got to do heroin from Baltimore or else I'm not going to belong with these guys. So I went out and I did it. You know what I mean? And so I think the number one thing in our community, even if you don't intend on staying in our community, is just tell people it doesn't have to get worse before it gets better. You know what I mean? Like this could be as low as it goes for you. You know what I mean? So that's kind of all I got. Thanks.